Wala'y makatanggi sa pagkamaayo mo, dili masugod kadako sa gugma mo. Wala'y katapusan ang pagkagamhanan mo, ikaw lang yun o Diyos ang ayang simba ko. Wala'y katapusan nga pagpasalamat, ikaw alagaran.
Okay, may gabi sa tanan once again mga kaigsunan, ani usab kita sa pagisgot ni ini nga Regalian doctrine. About kini may tungod sa claim diri, may tungod ni ini nga gitawag og why Philippine ato to pangitaw ng atong nagapagtagat. Kung na-interest ko kaganihanin din atong i-vlog karon nga doon kita ipagtulunan nga makuha ni ini mga katawhan ining atong yuta, atong nasod, o aron nga mabuksan ang atong mga huna-huna. O kini ato isgutan na lang kini nga nawala to gana kini na lang the Treaty of Paris. Sa kining word nga Treaty of Paris, ato kining tagag padong pagtagad atong attention kini. Okay? English version yun ang atong gigamit tungod kay English version man kining atong Regalian doctrine nga gidala nga gigamit. So mato pa dinhi the Treaty of Paris, the Philippines and the United States, the forging of new relation by Alejandro M. Fernandez. On December 10, 1898, the Treaty of Peace between the United States and Spain was signed in Paris. Article 3 of the treaty ceded the Philippines to the United States. In December 21, President William McKinley issued a proclamation asserting American sovereignty, role, control power over the Philippines. The United States sought to have her rights and obligations specified in the Treaty of Paris. On the basis of the treaty, President McKinley instructed the American military commander in Manila on December 21, 1898 to make known to the inhabitants of the Philippine Islands that in succeeding to the sovereignty of Spain, in severing the former political relation of the inhabitants, and in establishing a new political power, the authority of the United States is to be exerted for the securing of the persons and property of the people of the land of the islands, and for the confirmation of all their private rights and relations. The treaty and public property. It is a well-known doctrine in state succession that the control of the public domain is an integral part of the exercise of sovereignty. The Treaty of Paris gave the doctrine ample recognition. The treaty made a specific listing of the public properties included in the cession. Article 8 provided that Spain ceded in the Philippine archipelago. Kining word ceded means gitugyan. Gibigay, gihatag. Ceded in the Philippine archipelago. All the buildings, wharves, barracks, ports, structures, public highways, and other immovable property which in conformity with law belong to the public domain, and as such belong to the Crown of Spain. There were also rules with respect to the transfer of archive and public records. Spain excepted from the category of public domain the fixed property of the ecclesiastical or civic bodies and municipal corporations, but in doing so, she also relinquished her claim to any title to them. This was affirmed in an opinion of the Attorney General that by the decision Spain surrendered all property rights in the Philippines to the United States. This holding accorded with the settled American doctrine that the public domain includes all proprietary titles not alienated to individuals. The treaty in private rights and property, an even clearer formulation of the doctrine is found in the case of United States versus Fairchild-Man, in which the court declared a cession of territory is never understood to be cession of the property belonging to its inhabitants. The king cedes that only which belonged to him lands he had previously granted were not his to cede. The modern usage of nations which has become law would be violated that sense of justice and of right which is acknowledged and lived by the whole civilized world would be outraged open. Air puri, a private property should be generally confiscated and private rights annulled. The people change their alliance, loyalty, commitment, but the relation to each other and their rights of property remain undisturbed. The doctrine was formulated with a specific reference to the Philippines and the Treaty Declaration Article 8 that the cession of the islands to the United States cannot in any respect impair the property or rights which by law belong to the peaceful possessions of property of all kinds of provinces, municipalities, public or private establishments, ecclesiastical or civic bodies, or any other association having legal capacity to acquire or possess property in the aforesaid territories, ceded or of private individuals of whatever nationality such individuals may be. Dito sa private ownership of land usab, ato kini nga humano na lang, no? The courts have protected titles to land granted by the ceding state to legal persons in the study of the effects of change of sovereignty or private ownership of land. Sir, summarize the practice as follows. Up to the time of the signing of the peace treaty, grants of land in the Philippine Islands made by the proper Spanish authorities, where no proud appeared, would be prima facie valid, and those made by the United States occupying forces would be prima facie void. The same writer stated that the courts will not allow a mere cession of territory to the United States to injure or abrogate vested, settled, complete rights of land ownership, legal or equitable, reasonable, just, held by individuals at the time of cession. There seems to be no question then as to the protection of private property in land while when title to it was complete and validly made. No, records show that Don Esteban Rodriguez de Figueroa acquired his vast tracts of land through a covenant signed by him and King Philip II in 1591 to pacify Mindanao under the Civil Code and special laws. Titulo de Propiedad de Terranos of 1891 Royal Decree 01-4 Protocol was declared as the title covering the whole archipelago. This was an honorary decree granting this title the paramount title of them all to the fourth degree relative of Don Esteban Rodriguez de Figueroa a cousin of King Philip II, who rendered eminence and victory in King's name. The power of the king in doing such undertaking is that the Philippines is a crown colony in the sense that she belonged to the Spanish king. When Torrens system was imposed by the Second Philippine Commission on February 1, 1903, this Spanish title, Titulo Propiedad de Tiranos Royal Decree 014, emanated from Islas Filipinas, has made all the requirements prescribed under the Land Registration Act 496. Particularly, it appropriate technical descriptions based on the conducted geodetic survey on July 30, 1789. Thus became Torrens title and indefeasible of OCT 01-4 through the approval of its Decree 297 in 1904 covering the whole archipelago. The establishment of a new government with respect to the Treaty of Paris based or allows the change of sovereignty but prohibiting the confiscation of private land ownership held by individuals, corporations, and religious groups already granted by the King of Spain at the time of cession. Argument: Spain ceded the Philippine archipelago to the United States. Hence, those few hardly properties remnants of war were legally acquired by the United States as public domain from the King of Spain through the Treaty of Paris, such as buildings, wharves, barracks, ports, structures, public highways, and other immovable property. The king cedes that only which belonged to him. Lands he had previously granted were not his to cede. Okay, dire sa takutob mga kigsunan o sa sunod nga higayon atuntunan kining why is the Philippine government now claiming the ownership of the entire archipelago.